So I'm going to talk a little bit about proportion and how to get this back here to look deep into space, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to determine, basically I'm going to determine my horizon line. In the absence of a horizon or a real horizon, right, I have to use the synthetic horizon line, which is going to be my eye line, okay? And we've talked about this repeatedly about how that's going to work, right? Taking your finger at your shoulder like this and drawing it over. I close one of my eyes as I do this. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of paying attention to any landmarks that I'm drawing my horizon line over. And right now what's happening is all the way down at the end of the hallway, I'm just underneath that painting or whatever it is. And as I move over here, I'm going through the very top line of text here. And as I come over here, I'm going almost halfway through this television, right? So if I'm constantly thinking about those landmarks, that's gonna help me a lot. That's gonna correspond with this line here, okay? So, and this is again why I want you guys practicing drawing straight lines without using a ruler, because we wanna do our layout quickly and efficiently. So now I just roughly wanna go half and half. And again, if it doesn't look great, we go over it several times until we can pick the right one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoulder myself up really square to what I'm looking at. I want to see kind of the same convergence on both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and look for that vertical line that's going to be straight in line with me, that's going to basically be my vanishing point. Okay. So when we did the practice exercises where one of those boxes was straight in front of us and we couldn't see the sides at all, that's kind of what we're thinking about. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking at landmarks as I do this. I'm trying to split the difference between the two walls back there. What I'm seeing is I'm going straight through that X pretty well. And then as I take my pencil through this area, I'm seeing that roughly I'm about 3/4 of the way over on this weird overhanging ceiling. Right? So that's going to help me quite a bit as I make my decisions in terms of how I'm going to draw. So now that's going to be my vertical line. Okay, so that corresponds with what I have here. So this would come into play now if I wanted to use my viewfinder to help. So what I would do is I would think about where my landmarks are here, my landmarks are here. I would close one of my eyes and I would take a look and see if I can measure that out and get it perfectly in line. So this would become my vanishing point, which actually is not on the ground, right? So what I might do is I might measure with my pencil about how far down from the from that painting to the ground is some pencil siding. And then what I do is I try to see if that's similar to something else. And what that's doing for me is that's creating a basic unit. Okay? So a basic unit is something I use to approximate a measurement rather than using a ruler. So my basic unit is going to be that space from the ground up to that painting. And I'm seeing as I put it on its side, it's as wide as the painting is as well. Okay? Now to make sure that I don't draw this too close, I have to make sure that it's further back in space. So I have to make sure that it's a very small area here. So really, I'm just going to start with something that shows equal amounts of space on both sides. And my basic unit now is this, okay? Because that's where my horizon line was, and that's what I measured. So now I can say, okay, roughly, my painting should be about like right here, and then it should go right here to get my proportions correct. And it's not perfectly in the center, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where that chair is. I'm going to take another basic unit, I'm going to measure that. Now when I look at the chair and I look at it sideways, it's like 1.25 basic units. So you think about that a little bit, right, as a ratio. That helps me to understand that it's like about that tall, about there, but then I move up a little bit more. That's gonna kind of tell me where that should be. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna kind of get that roughed in a little bit, even if I need to do a gesture drawing, just to kind of create that. Once I've got a few things in proportion, things are gonna start to really come together, right? Now what I wanna do is I wanna see what this pitch is gonna be like, okay? So the pitch of the floor should hit my vanishing point, right? So I can measure this over here, get that same pitch. I can go from my vanishing point now, and I can start to go all the way out like this. I can do the same thing on this side, and I can try to get that to go from my vanishing point here to go all the way down that hallway. So something kind of weird that's happening here is it looks like I got off a little bit right here, right? You guys kind of see how it's not extending out from here. So I might have to make an adjustment there, and that's fine, right? Now in terms of the layout, I want to figure out this pitch. That should join my vanishing point as well, because all of this is going to correspond, but what's not going to correspond is this weirdness up in here, right? Because these are attached all architecturally to the same vanishing point, but that stuff up there is not. So you got to find something that you can get to go all the way back. And one thing that's going to work is this architectural piece right here. The doors are lined up with. Does that kind of make sense? So I create my pitch here again. I create my pitch back here, and this is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be like this. It's going to be a little bit more relaxed. In fact, because I'm not drawing all the way up there, it may even be all the way down here. Now I start thinking about my verticals over here. Dropping my door in here, another smaller door back here. And once we feel like we have a good layout going on, we erase this stuff. Oh, not that. We erase this, we erase this, we erase this. We erase this. Take a great reference photo, okay? And then we're ready to go ahead and take that upstairs, crisp and clean everything up and get it shaped, okay? Ask me a question.
Were you allowed to sit on the ground?
Totally. Yeah, be as comfortable as you need to be to do this. I like to use the easel just because I really like to make sure that my vanishing point, like when I'm standing up, is as true as humanly possible. Because really, when you think about it, my vanishing point should correspond with the floors, but in order for that to happen, it would have to be like cast, where, or call, and it would all have to be paved out that way, if that kind of makes sense. So you have to look through your subject. Okay, cool. So that's one point.